So this is the two-port network. For this two-port network, we need to calculate two-port network parameters. Let's start with the Z parameters. Okay, Nama? Let's start with Z parameters. For the given two-port network, I want to calculate the Z parameters. Right? So if you want to calculate the Z parameter, you need to start with the. So if any one of you have a confident, they are able to solve on you by yourself. So try to solve parallelly. So if anyone not able to solve, let me follow just see what I am saying here. If you are confident, then you can try yourself, right? Yeah. So I want to calculate the Z parameters of the given two-port network. See, it is a two-port network, right? So first port having the voltage V1, current I1, second port having the voltage V2 and current I2. So I want to calculate Z parameter. So write the Z parameter equation. V1 equal to Z11 into I1 plus V12 into I2. Similarly, V2 equal to Z21 into I1 plus Z22 into I2, right? Good. Z22 into I2. Right? Okay, Nama? Good. So now, if we want to calculate Z11, so how we calculate Z11? Z11 equal to V1 by I1 at I2 equal to 0, right? And similarly, at I2 equal to 0, we can calculate Z21. So Z21 equal to V2 by I1 at I2 equal to 0, right? So at I2 equal to 0 means the second port is open. The second port is open, right? So second port is open. First I want to calculate Z11. How we calculate Z11? V1 by I1, right? So how we get the I1? First calculate the I1. So anyone can tell expression for I1? Anyone can tell expression for I1? Expression for I1. Are you able to hear me? Anyone able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what is the expression for I1? I1 in this circuit. What is the expression for I1? How we calculate I1? This is I1, right? Current in the first port I1. So I1 can be written by applying the simple KVL here. So V1 minus I1 into 1 kilo ohm minus 10 to the power minus 4 into V2, that's equal to 0, right? If you apply KVL for this loop, or we can write I1 is nothing but V1 minus this voltage divided by 1 kilo ohm. I hope because you already go through the EC1, that's why I'm going some fast here. So just try to apply KVL in the first loop. Try to apply the KVL in the first loop. Then if you apply KVL here, what we have? V1 minus 1 kilo ohm. 1 kilo ohm means 10 power 3. Huh? So 1 kilo ohm means it is 10 power 3. This represents power 10 power 3, 10 cube ohms into I1 right? So V1 minus drop vector is here and minus 10 power minus 4, 10 power minus 4 V2, that's equal to 0. So from here, try to give the value for I1. From this equation, try to give the value for I1. So I1 equal to I1 equal to V1 minus 10 power minus 4 into V2, 10 power minus 4 into V2 divided by
10 power 3.
10 power 3, right? Divided by 10 power 3. So divided by 10 power 3. You can try yourself also. If you have good comment on the subject, you can try yourself and give the answers when I'm asking. So that is I1, right? So, but actually, if you want to calculate Z1, we need to calculate the V1 by I1. But here, see, I1 is there, V1 is there, but here I have the V2. Here I have the V2. So if I am able to find the V2 in terms of I1, then it is easy to calculate the V1 by 1 because in the complete equation we have the only I1 expression and V1 expression. అర్థమవుతుందమ్మా? ఇప్పుడు మనకు V1 by I1 క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలి. సో అక్కడ I1 ఉంది, V1 ఉంది, బట్ ఇక్కడ V2 ఉంది కదా. So if I'm able to calculate V2 in terms of V1, or if I'm able to calculate V2 in terms of I1, then it is easy to calculate the ratio between V1 and I1, right? So now my question is, by observing the circuit, anyone can tell what is the value of V2. By observing the circuit, anyone can tell what is the value of V2.
Across 40 kilo ohms.
అమ్మ గట్టిగా మీరు చెప్పింది కరెక్ట్ ఒకసారి
Across
గట్టిగా
40 kilo ohms.
మీరు చెప్పింది కరెక్ట్ ఏందమ్మా కొంచెం
Across 40 kilo ohms.
across 40 kilo ohm. Good. So what is the value of the voltage across the 40 kilo ohm? What is the voltage across the 40 kilo ohm? పర్లేదు రైట్ అయినా రాంగ్ అయినా పర్లేదు నేను కరెక్ట్ చేస్తాను ఇబ్బంది ఇది హౌ మనకు across 40 kilo ohm I want to calculate the voltage, that is the V2. So how I am able to calculate the voltage across 40 kilo ohm?
40 kilo ohms into I2.
అమ్మా
40 kilo ohms into I2.
I2 మనకు ఇక్కడ చూడు I2 జీరో కదా, బికాజ్ ఇట్స్ ఓపెన్ కదమ్మా, I2 జీరో కదా.
50 I1.
గుడ్ గుడ్. మరి ఒకసారి చెప్పండి కదా 40 kilo ohm into 50 into this is the current, right? Current source, right? This is the current source. So this 50 I1 current is flowing like this, because this current is not divided through this port because it's the open kadama. As it's the open, no current is flowing in this branch. So whatever the current supplied by this dependent current source is flowing to the 40 kilo ohm only, right? So what is the value of current flowing to the 40 kilo ohm? What is the value of current flowing to the 40 kilo ohm?
I1.
50 I1. So what is the V2? That nothing but the voltage of the 40 kilo ohm. ఎంత వస్తుంది 50 I1
Into 40.
multiplied with 40 kilo ohm. 40 kilo ohm means 40 kilo ohm and then the 40 into 10 power 3. 40 kilo ohms is 40 into 10 power 3. So now my question is the V2 expression is right or wrong? నేను మనం డిస్కస్ చేసిన ప్రకారం V2 equal to 50 into I1 into 40 into 10 power 3 అని చెప్పాను కదమ్మా. ఈ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ అమ్మా
Sign correct అంటే నెగటివ్ సైన్ వస్తుంది అనుకుంటా సార్.
రైట్. ఇట్ ఇస్ హియర్
current direction is reverse.
Right. Is it okay now? I am keeping the minus sign here, right? Because current is flowing in this direction. So when the current is flowing from the bottom to the top of the 40 kilo ohm, then here we have the plus sign and here we have the minus sign. But V2 here plus sign and here minus sign, right? So that's why I am taking the negative sign here. V2 equal to. Ardhavutunna? So 50 into I1 into 40 into 10 power 3. This is the voltage across the 10 kilo ohm resistance with positive sign at the bottom and minus sign in the upper. Whereas the terminal voltage V2 positive sign at the upper portion and negative within the bottom portion. So that's why I am taking the negative sign to make equal. Okay, Nama? Now replace this V2 here. Now replace this V2 in this equation. So appude em vastundamo chudandi. V1 minus 10 power 3 into I1. V1 minus 10 power 3 into I1 minus 10 power minus 4 into 10 power minus 4 into V2 enta ide kada. So just replace V2 here. This is the V2. Is it okay nama? Right. So V1 minus 10 power 3 into I1 minus 10 power minus 4 into V2. V2 equal to this expression. That's equal to 0. Just in this equation, I am replacing V2 with this expression. I hope you are confident what I am telling. This is how I will explain once again. Right. So now ఇప్పుడు చూడండి అమ్మా, here I have the I1 expression and here also I have the I1 expression. So V1 minus, if I take I1 common, so మనకి ఏ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ ఉంటాయి ఇక్కడ? I1 కామన్ తీసాం అనుకోండి, ఇక్కడ ఏముంటుంది 10 power 3 కదమ్మా, 10 power 3. అండ్ ఇక్కడ చూడండి ఇది మైనస్ సైన్, ఇది మైనస్ సైన్ కదా, సో మైనస్ ఇంటూ మైనస్ ప్లస్ అవుతుంది, సారీ ప్లస్. సో ఇక్కడ ఏముంది 10 power minus 4 and multiplied with 50, because this minus sign already transferred here and it will become plus, into 50 into 40 into multiplied with 10 power 3, right? That's equal to 0, right? Good. Now what I want to do is, just I want to move this complete negative expression toward the right hand side of the equality sign, then it will become plus, right? Otherwise I will write one more time here. So control V, then I want to move this complete expression toward the right hand side of the equality sign. Now it will be plus now, right? Huh? So just I am moving this expression toward the right hand side of the equality sign. Now V1 by I1. So take the V1 by I1. So Z11 equal to V1 divided by I1. That's equal to, ante I1 ఏమో left hand side of the equality sign move చేసానమ్మా. So V1 by I1 equal to, ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఏం మిగిలిందమ్మా ఇక్కడ? What is remaining here? That is 10 power 3 plus, ఇది చూడమ్మా 10 power minus 4 కదా, and it is a 10 power 3 కదా. So what we have? 10 power minus 4 into 10 power minus 10 power 3. That will be 10 power minus 1 kadamma. So 10 power minus 1 ante 1 by 10. So 1 by 10 into ikkada em undi 50 into 40 undi. So
200 sir.
50 into 40 and entamma? Okay, 50 multiplied with 40 divided by 10. Can I write like this? Is it okay namma? నేనేం చేసండి 10 power 4 minus 4 into 10 power 3 చేస్తే ఏమొస్తుంది 10 power minus 1 వస్తుంది కదా, అంటే 1 by 10. So 1 by 10 into 50 into 40, 50 into 40 divided by 10. Okay? So ఇదేమవుతుందమ్మా? So 40 by 10 అంటే it will be 4, right? Now finally give the expression for Z11. Z11 equal to 10 power 3, that is 1000, plus 50 into 4, that is 200. Finally we have the 1200 ohms. So that is the Z11. Hope you understand. Anyhow, I will explain for this one again, because you have to do next step. So I want to calculate the Z parameters of the given two-port network. All right. So to calculate the Z parameters of the given two-port network, you have to note down the Z parameter equation. And first I want to calculate Z11, later I want to calculate Z21 by making I2 equal to 0. Z1 equal to V1 by I1, Z21 equal to V2 by I1. Right? Good. So okay. So now first I want to calculate Z11. So Z1 equal to V1 by I1 at I2 equal to 0 kadamma. So I2 equal to 0 means second port is open. I2 equal to 0, second port is open. I want to calculate V1 by I1. So if you want to calculate the V1 by I1, first try to find the I1 expression. So if you want to calculate I1, just apply the KVL in the first loop. Apply the KVL in the first loop. So apply KVL in the first loop. Then what happened? V1 minus I1 into 1 kilo ohm minus 10 power 4 into V2. V1 minus I1 into 10 power 3, that's the 1 kilo ohm, minus 10 power minus 4 into V2, that's equal to 0. So if you want to calculate Z11, you need to calculate V1 by I1, right? So you have the V1 here, you have the I1 here, but you have the V2 here. So it is difficult to find the V1 by I1 expression from this equation. Then what you have to do, if I am able to find the V2 in terms of either V1 or either I1, then we can easily calculate the V1 by I1 ratio from this equation, right? So for that, I want to find the V2 in terms of I1. So how we get the V2 in terms of I1? First, calculate the V2. First, calculate the V2. Right? Okay, anyhow, further I have simplified it. Okay, first try to calculate the V2. Keep it aside. Try to calculate the V2. How we calculate the V2? V2 nothing but voltage across the second port with positive here and negative here. So voltage across the second port is nothing but voltage across the 40 kilo ohm. So how we calculate the voltage across the 40 kilo ohm? 50 into I1 is the current source, and this current is flowing like this and like this and like this, because no current is flowing in this branch because it's open. So this 50 into I1 current is flowing to the 40 kilo ohm. Then voltage across the 40 kilo ohm equal to 50 into I1 multiplied with 40 kilo ohm, right? So 50 into I1 with 40 kilo means 50 into I1 multiplied with 40 and multiplied with kilo ohm, right? It is a 10 power 3, right? But see, when the current is flowing from the bottom part to the upper part, then it is a negative sign and it is a positive sign. Sorry. When the current is moving from the upper part to the lower part, lower part to the upper part, then here it is a positive sign. At the bottom we have the positive sign, and at the top we have the negative sign. But V2 is the top at the negative sign, bottom at the positive. Top at the positive sign and bottom at the negative sign. It is a reverse, right? That's why I am taking the negative sign here. I am taking the negative sign, right? Now replace this V2 expression. Now replace this V2 expression in this equation. Then we have the V1 minus 10 power 3 into I1 minus 10 power minus 4 into V2 expression is this one. This one. So same thing I have copied here. That's equal to 0. And finally take I1 common and take the ratio between V1 and I1, and finally we get the 1200. So this is how we can calculate the Z11. Now friends, now my question is how we calculate the Z21. So analysis chesam kadamma. So from this analysis, can anyone can tell me how we can calculate Z21? Z21 equal to ఇక్కడ రాసినట్టు V2 by I1 కదా. ఎవరైనా చెప్పగలరా what is the value of Z21?
సార్ ఆన్సర్ 800 వస్తుంది కదా సార్ Z11.
అమ్మా
Z11 ఆన్సర్ 800 వస్తుంది కదా సార్.
Z11
800 ohms వస్తుంది సార్.
Z1 800 అమ్మా.
సార్ 800.
అంటే ఇక్కడ మీరు నెగిటివ్ వస్తుందా మనకు?
పాజిటివ్ అయిన తర్వాత రైట్ సైడ్ వెళ్తే మళ్ళీ నెగిటివ్ అవుతుంది కదా సార్.
అయ్యో చూడండి, V1 minus 10 power 3 into
సార్ మైనస్ I1 కామన్ తీసింది కదా.
మైనస్ I1 కామన్ తీసాను. ఇక్కడ 10 power 3 ఉంది కదమ్మా.
అక్కడ మైనస్ 10 power minus 4 వస్తుంది సార్. మైనస్ 10 power minus 4.
Right. So because I am taking the I1 common, so it will be minus. So now here is good minus. Now here it is minus. Now here it is a minus. Good.
Minus.
Right. It is 800. Now what is the value of Z21? What is the value of Z21? We can see. So మీకు ఆన్సర్ మీ ఇన్ఫ్రంట్ మీ ముందే స్క్రీన్ మీద కనిపిస్తుందమ్మా. యూ కెన్ ఫైండ్ ద ఆన్సర్. మీ ముందు స్క్రీన్ లో కనిపిస్తుందమ్మా ఆన్సర్. ఎవరైనా